Hello, everyone, and welcome to another round of eVis Advisor Sessions. This time, though, it's my turn. I'm here with the one and only Amer. I've met him originally, I was on my way out of Baghdad, going through Amman, and his professor at the moment asked me to come and hear the University of Jordan's pleading. And I came in with basically being flown all over the country and then landed in Amman. I think I still smelled like sand from the airplane.
I couldn't smell anything.
And I met him and I just got off the plane and I heard their pleadings. And it was been amazing to see his transformation from being a Moody to finishing his LLM and now clerking for a U.S. judge. Congratulations on your progress, and I look forward to seeing you continue to grow professionally. I knew this would happen, that you're going to outrank me quite quickly, but I'm very happy it happened, and I'm very happy and honored to have you part of the eVis pre-moot. But like always, you're always the one who asked a lot of questions. So I figured there's no one else that can do this Q&A about this eVis platform to get rid of any questions anyone might think of, because if he didn't think about it, then basically no one will. So I'll leave you to this Q&A. I'm kind of nervous at the questions you're going to ask me. Might not be prepared, but okay, I'll do it.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for the very kind words, and I know that nothing would have happened if it wasn't for this exact pre-moot and these workshops that really were the starting point of the whole transformation. So I owe everything to my pre-moot, Middle East pre-moot family. So I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to participate in this again. So thank you very much for bringing me on. As usual, I have a lot of questions. Let's start with this. What's the difference between a regular pre-moot and our virtual pre-moot?
Right. So when you were coming on in the pre-moot, if you remember, we had different rooms, and anyone can come in and walk in and watch a hearing. And so let's say, as long as they didn't, obviously, they were avoiding the scouting rules, but anyone can watch other people's arguments, and it provide a great educational opportunity. Moreover, if we had a room full of arbitrators, and if someone decided to flake on us, we can just grab an arbitrator and bring them into the room. So we had, a physical ability to manage all the potential risks that could happen physically because we were there. In a virtual setting, that all just goes right out the window. Number one is, in order to limit conflict of interest between people listening and copying other arguments or providing legal assistance to teams virtually through all types of technologies, and also being able to control the setting, the hearings are actually closed, meaning it's a video bridge between two teams, three arbitrators, and a vis moot moderator. So in order to help at least prepare or provide that educational setting, we're going to record the arguments, and all of them can be made available password protected after your round. So when you're in that room alone with your arbitrators and another team, almost kind of very similar to real arbitrations that are supposed to be closed and confidential.
And I know I'm going to have a lot of questions about the moderators later, but for now, so who and what is RDO?
So when we had to basically go to a virtual moot, because CLDP, we just don't quit. If coronavirus for all, we proceed. And right away when we had to make the decision, I said we're going virtual. And there was a kind of like, how do we go virtual? Everyone was saying Skype, even YouTube or Zoom, and Zoom is a great system, but we wanted something that would set the stage for what the next generation of international commercial arbitration specialists practice with. And there are actually lots of platforms out there. Courts have automated their processes. I'm pretty sure you've seen in your court where there's new systems coming into play where if an attorney had to appear and he couldn't physically be there, they're finding ways to have them virtual appearance. And so apparently there is companies out there that are making a whole bunch of money in creating arbitration platforms. But this one seems to be a little bit different. So we researched Resolve Dispute Online, RDO, and a lot of their board of advisors were former pretty much arbitrators for our pre-moots. And they were willing to do it at a really great partner for this pre-moot, and they wanted to develop a customized platform in which they're providing not just video bridges, but something customized for an e-moot program. And that's what we've been working on, which is actually still in process, by the way, because something like this usually takes months. But RDO came on board about less than a week ago and has developed a system and infrastructure in which they have dedicated servers in all the countries that we've listed where people are coming in from. They had a team to code and develop the actual code, computer code that was necessary to have a customized platform where people can have a virtual arbitration. So that's a little bit about RDO, and we can provide a link. Obviously, you can check them out online and see what they offer.
Wow, so in a sense, we're even getting much more valuable experience in terms of how we are going to be prepared for the future of arbitration and then the virtual aspect of that.
Not just you and not just the students. We're talking about all the different arbitrators from around the world that are going to be hearing your pleadings. They're probably, some of them, not even into Zoom. So getting them introduced to an RDO or any other educational platform that showcases this is how virtual pleadings happen is going to be revolutionary. So welcome to the experiment.
This is why I love being a part of this process. But I have more questions.
Of course.
So what can we expect from our virtual system?
Right. So you're going to get an email, you, as I think a moderator, and we'll talk about what that role is, or as an arbitrator. And teams and arbitrators will get specially unique emails that will say, here's where your round is, and here's the time that you're supposed to log on, here's the URL to the RDO platform, and here's your unique password. So you click on that link and it takes you to a landing page. That landing page is going to give you some further technical information, which is already available on that BCDR website that we were talking about. And it will just kind of clarify what you need technically. And then it'll ask you to make a pledge. So if you're a team, you have to pledge that you're not going to receive any outside technical assistance or legal assistance. And if you're an arbitrator, you kind of pledge that there's no conflict of interest. You have to tick the box before you submit. Once you submit, it's going to prompt you to identify your role. So there are 4 types of role, I guess. Moderator, arbitrator, claimant, respondent. So you put your name, dash, your role. Once you click that, click submit, it'll take you to the video bridge where your role title will be right under your picture in your screen, and the Vismoot moderator will be there as well, along with the arbitrators, and that's your forum.
I like that.
We'll see if it works.
Well, that leads me to my next question. So what if I have connection issues?
There's going to be potentially a lot of connection issues. So in order to prepare for the system, what we try to do, and my colleague Lucas Graff, who has been amazing to spearhead this with RDO and the teams as well, is they've worked to have some connectivity tests. We did one on March 6th, we did one on March 9th, and we plan to do one tomorrow, in which at least we identify which jurisdictions have potential firewalls that will not enable RDO's platform to work. Thankfully, alhamdulillah, there's not that many, and we have been able to conquer those issues. But let's say there's different connectivity issues that you're going to have. First of all teams and arbitrators and moderators should go into their link, which will be provided to them a day in advance, at least 10 to 15 minutes before your hearing. Test your equipment, make sure you have good connection. It's all laid out in the EVIS rules. But let's say you clock in and the teams are there and the moderator's there, but only 2 out of the 3 arbitrators are there. If that's the case, the VIS moderator in that room, say you're a VIS moderator and we have 2 arbitrators, 1 doesn't show up, you as a moderator have that capability to step in and become the arbitrator. Your role as a Vismoot moderator is to record the session and to make sure the EVIS rules are also being applied fairly, and to step into as the 3rd arbitrator if that's the case. Now, if teams have connectivity issues, if the panel's full, they determine whether they wait between 5 to 15 minutes. But anything past 15 minutes, you're going to have a major connectivity issue. So when that happens, then you get rescheduled into a round. All general rounds that must be rescheduled get rescheduled for March 14th in the morning of. There's the round 7, which is a makeup round, which hopefully we won't need if that's the case. So it's tough with connectivity issues. So you have, if you are late or you have connectivity issues in the beginning, up to, I think, a 15-minute, that's kind of the grace period, because 15 minutes per argument. If your entire argument is gone, then it extends that. We've allocated times for the sessions to be 2 hours. You probably could be able to extend it a little bit, but 2 hours should be sufficient to address potential 2 15-minute connectivity issues.
Mm-hmm.
So that's if you're late or you have connectivity issues there. We've addressed if maybe 1 out of the 2 arbitrators is not there. If 2 or more of the arbitrators are not there, you're going to have to get rescheduled.
Okay. You answered 3 of the questions that I had lined up for you.
Maybe I just knew what you were going to ask, since I can see them. Actually, I can't read your handwriting
Me
at
all. So how do we get feedback from the arbitrators?
All right, so we finished the round. And what happens next? Everyone pleaded, they can breathe, it's over. But wait, don't cry yet. Wait till after you get out of the room. Just, when you're done with your rounds, arbitrators will be prompted to give you immediate feedback. So you're just going to get straight up feedback from each of the arbitrators. Then after that, the moderators are going to kick you out of the room. Sayonara. You're out of the room. You're done. Khalas. When you're done, the arbitrators then would congregate themselves and then go into scoring.
So how will the scoring work?
Well, before I move into that, just remember, maybe not all arbitrators are going to provide you feedback. We have all different types of arbitrators. We have former Moody's. We have those who are extremely experienced and have been doing this for years, decades, longer than you and I. And how old? I know I'm older than you, but maybe even longer than I've lived on this earth, okay? So, and then you also have professors and team coaches. So just know that there's a range. So there's going to be a different type of feedback. And it's all subjective. Just remember that. The feedback is subjective. It's up to you to take that feedback and learn which one you're going to adapt to.
And that's where the coach comes in and helps you filter through the feedback to get
exactly.
what works best for you.
And you wanted to talk about scoring. So first thing is that we're using the same scoring guidelines. So, and I think they're up on the BCDR website. But what's cool this year, thanks to BCDR, is that we've automated everything. So arbitrators already have an electronic form that resembles the scoring sheet that they would have seen in Vienna. And they just put in their scores, click submit, it goes to the Vismut organizers, and it automatically, electronically tabulates all the scores. So we're not having all this issue of, did someone write the wrong number? I have to read their handwriting because they're as bad as yours. Or other issues when it comes to having paper trail. So we're all automatic this year.
Amazing.
But again, we have to see if this is going to work, and teams need to understand that at the end of the day, with any electronic system, it's run by humans, and humans make errors, lots of them. And these are subjective in nature, and people need to understand that even if arbitrators congregate, someone's 50 could be someone's 70 points. I mean, you and I can look at your handwriting and you'll give yours from 0 to 10 what?
0.
I'd give yours a 5.
Very generous of you. So just once again, briefly, how do we see our scores once they're out? How do we see them?
Right. There's been discussion with the Vismut organizers on how we do that. There was discussion, and I'm going to tell this to everybody because I think it's important to know what happens behind the scenes. Initially, we were thinking, release the scores live tracker at any time, any place. But again, that defeats the purpose of this being an educational experience. So what we thought is at the conclusion of all the rounds, at the conclusion of the pre-moot, we will then provide each team with their individual scores like we have in the past. So you'll get an email with a tabulation of all your scores.
So wait, it's about learning and not winning?
It's always about learning. You just learned about this now?
Okay.
Losing is a great lesson. Well,
That's true.
What is it in my, I have like a very cheesy statement that's on top of like all my medals or things of that. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. So if you don't lose, you'll never know how to win.
Exactly. I have one last question.
Okay.
How will we know if we made it to the elimination rounds?
All right. So we were still in the process of molding how to really do this because, usually at the physical pre-moot, we do a ceremony, and don't ask me questions about the ceremony because we're not there yet. But as far as how, and Professor Brand comes up and he gets a piece of paper and he reads it out loud and everyone's there and they have an hour to prepare, we have to think of something different. So thank you for signing up to be our Instagram guy.
I'll try my best.
So the plan is as follows. I think we'll know the live scores. Professor Brand will do kind of more of a video feed that will post up on the Instagram and Facebook and all the social media, and as well as blast on the BCDR website. And we'll email the team. And teams usually have an hour between each of the different elimination rounds. So if we don't have that many makeup rounds, we can go straight into the elimination rounds right away, at the pre-scheduled time. And if we do, then we'll have an hour to get exactly what those scores will be.
I think for the first time in my life, I'm out of questions. So thank you.
Then I have succeeded. I've survived Amer. Finally.
So thank you for answering all our questions, and thank you for having me here.
No, I have one question for you.
Oh, God. What is it?
Going back to when we first met, knowing how much this is and how much work it has been, to all the new people that are going to be graduating this year, do you think how beneficial it to give back? Do you think giving back, you get back a lot? Because a lot of, when they finish this program, they help out for maybe a year or two, and they kind of phase away. But there's few Moody's, such as yourself, such as Janet, such as Liz, such as others, that come back year after year. What makes you come back year after year?
First of all, what makes me come back is because, as we talked about earlier, a lot of the things that are happening, a lot of the good things that are happening in my life, the starting point of all that was this, the Middle East pre-moot, and so I think of it as family. There's nothing more rewarding than being a part of a big family and being part of something that's bigger than you. And the fact that we were able to persevere through a virtual platform and respond to the coronavirus with strength, it just summarizes why, if I'm allowed to be and to participate in this process, I will be there every single time with every single minute that I have. And as a Moody, I even realized the value that was in this process. And I looked at it and I saw how big the stage was, and I saw how much educational value I was able to get that will enable me both in my legal studies and in my professional career. And I said to myself, I need to take full advantage of this. And every single day, by the end of the day, I'm going to ask myself, could I have done anything more? Could I have worked harder on this? And some days the answer was yes, some days the answer was no. If the answer is I could have worked harder, I just learn from that and try to work harder and harder. And in the end, during some parts of that, I felt like I didn't know what result I was going to get. But now that we have the ability to look back in hindsight, not only would I do that again, I will do more if even possible.
I don't know if that would have been possible. You gave it your heart, but thank you so much for all your commitment and for kind of paying it back, not just to the team in Jordan, but to all the teams that you've mentored along the way. We really appreciate your service, and we welcome you back year after year. So thank you again for everything.
Thank you for having me.
Well, good luck and welcome to the family.